Hello and welcome to Soul Basics Soul Chat. Today we are talking with Laurie Staniforth. Laurie has worked in law enforcement for over 27 years and is currently an inspector for the Alberta Sheriffs. In addition, she is the vice chair for the nonprofit organization Alberta Women in Public Safety. And off duty, Laurie loves to travel, golf, and spend time with her family. Laurie, I can't tell you how happy I am that you're here with me today. There's literally so much that I want to talk to you about, but I wonder if first we could talk, if a little bit about, you could tell us a little bit more about Alberta Women in Public Safety.
Hi, Tammy. Thank you for having me. It's nice to be here and certainly going to enjoy our conversation today. I love that we've had to schedule time to get caught up and have a visit, but this is wonderful. So thanks for having me. In terms of Awips, Alberta Women in Public Safety, originally the organization started out as Alberta Women in Policing, and that was found to have narrowed the target audience to who we wanted to attract and obtain. And so we changed the name of it and we made it inclusive to everyone working in the field of public safety. So originally it was known as the Big Three, which was RCMP, Calgary Police Service, and Edmonton Police Service. And so in 2016 was the year that we expanded and the Alberta Sheriffs were at the table within Awips. And we have grown from a membership of 12 to 178-ish, I think.
Oh my goodness.
Focus, yeah, it's gotten very big. We have a board of directors, an executive, and within that, we do lots of as a nonprofit, lots of funding with different grants that we write to obtain funds. And really, the focus of Awips is for supporting an inclusive environment for women leaders within Alberta public safety agencies that focuses on positive outcomes, career advancement. We're launching a mentorship program here this fall. There's going to be a conference happening in April. And so there's a lot of exciting things that are occurring right now. So I think the mentorship one is the I'm most proud of and hope to see come to fruition.
Wow. So what's it like? Like, I imagine sorry, I'm just getting my thoughts here together based on everything that you've said. You started with 12 and before that there was like nothing. So
yeah.
what did these women in public safety that, in police work, what did they do for support beforehand? And now you're at upwards of 100, close to 180. So what was it like beforehand compared to what it's like now?
Well, I recall being invited to my first AGM, and I was there as a guest. And we talked about how do we evolve this? How do we get this messaging out? How do we target other law enforcement agencies? And so we relied on our positive relationship we have with the Alberta Chiefs of Police. And we advocated at the table with the AACP to say, this is what we are, this is who we are, and this is why it's important for your support in your own agencies. So the chiefs of police within the province of Alberta were advocating for, again, creating these inclusive environments in their own workplaces for when we talk about equity and inclusivity and diversity. It's important to have all those things. And we look lots of management teams were lacking female representation in leadership. So the very first thing we did was and you look at the learning that is been afforded to me as a result of being within Awips, strategic planning. We did a 5-year plan on things that we needed to do in order to evolve. One of them was creating a website, which we have done. And then we've had a presence in social media now. So we are on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. And so we continuously then advocate for membership. And what we've been able to do is afford training opportunities for women to be engaged with for their own career advancement. So things that your own organizations wouldn't put together for you, we have then advocated for. So we have an AGM once a year, and then we have our board and our executive meet often. So that's kind of how things have taken flight, and our evolution started with the creation of our website. So within social media, people would buy memberships. We have a challenge coin. We invite people to training opportunities. This mentorship piece is going to be huge for us, because it will, and really it's the engagement that we're getting from our male counterparts in the workplace, where, show us the way, coach us, train us, mentor us into leadership positions. And so it's been very rewarding to be in amongst all of that growth. It at times seems a bit daunting when we look at, our first meetings were 12 people. The last one the Alberta Sheriffs hosted was in Edmonton. We had it at Government House, and there was 90 women there. We have an awards committee as well. And we feature, so we'll send out through the Alberta Chiefs of Police, here are the awards, feature some of the women within your organization that are doing this good work, and let's celebrate them with a nomination. And so we read through all of the nominees that come in, and we select the award recipients. So this year will be the third year that we've done so, and we've been able to acknowledge and recognize some of the women that are doing great work, not only in their own agencies within the community, within the leadership role. And at our AGM, it was found that people wanted to bring their families, they wanted to bring their mentors, their coaches within their agencies to this presentation of this award. And it got so big that we are now having to have the awards night separate from the AGM. Wow. And so it's a good opportunity to connect with people who are leading the way for you, who have been instrumental in helping you achieve things in your career and advancement. So, yeah, that's I guess the Coles notes of it all.
Well, I want to say thank you for being a voice for them, for telling us all about that group today. I had no idea. And thank you for being part of something that is so important for women in public safety, in the role of, because they're there to help protect us. They're on the peacekeeping mission of helping protect civilians. And to be able to be part of this group and to chair this group, I applaud you. And so thank you for being so supportive of the women that you work with. I know from personal experience, being the wife of an RCMP and then later an Alberta Sheriff, and a lot of the things that a police officer goes through. Behind the scenes, a lot of people, civilians, may not appreciate the amount of work and turmoil that they have to face on a daily basis. And again, I'm just really glad that you're able to support women in this role. But that said, that kind of makes me think about, it's not an easy job. With what you do, and you've been in law enforcement for over 27 years. So I imagine that you would have faced like a lot of things, and one of them being maybe some negativity. Like, how do you cope with all of that, or how have you coped through the years, and how do you cope now?
That's a great question, Tammy, and I spent a lot of time thinking about my career. Having started, I started my career with the Federal Corrections, the Correctional Service of Canada. I was 21 years old, and so when you start your career in those formative years of, you don't really even know who you are as a person, or your likes, or you have really not developed a ton of coping strategies, and then the environment that you're placed in is, like you've identified, one of negativity. And so you see a lot of things that lots of people I shouldn't see, or things that you're not ready to see, especially at that age when you're even developing your own maturity. So it's one of the things that I find now that I'm on the latter part of my career that I have tried to achieve throughout my entire career and in my life is balance. And that's been one of the most challenging things to overcome throughout those years. And, I think anyone that works in this field can appreciate that throughout anyone's career, you are going to be challenged with things like mental health, addiction, negative, toxic behavior. And then you're going and trying to work through some of these things while you're trying to advance in your career and put yourself in a position of advantage with career advancement and all kinds of things like that. So some of the things that I have always relied upon, and I think we've talked before on this, is, I have tried to maintain, healthy lifestyle at different times in my life where it's been more important than others. But certainly, I'm an outdoors gal, so I love being outside and with nature. Family, having a support system is very, very important. Family, friends, therapy. We've talked about, I admire you so much for what you do with meditation and maintaining a clear brain and positive energy. Those things have always been very, very important to me. Now, certainly throughout different times in my life, I have not always achieved the balance that I would like to have, but it's something I work at constantly. So you identified in me long before I even knew it myself that I am an empath. I connect with people. Personal relationships are extremely important to me. It has served me well throughout not only my personal life, but in my career. And that's another reason, again, why Awips, right? It's connecting with people who are going through similar experiences, drawing strength from each other, finding solutions that are positive, and really kind of continuing on that path.
Yeah, you are 100% an empath. I knew that from the moment that I met you. We've known each other a lot of years now. As an empath, though, and I know we've talked about, okay, so there's this negativity, and then you're, trying to achieve balance, and it's an ongoing thing for anybody to always try to, maintain that balance. But as an empath, how is it that you're able to put that wall up? Because empaths tend to absorb, everyone's energy. You walk into a room, you absorb the energy of others. And being in law enforcement, and especially like you were in corrections, my goodness, being in the jails all the time, that would have been a lot of negative and hard energy to have to, as an empath, to put that wall up so that you don't absorb it. How is it that you're able to do that?
Well, and I think where my mind goes when you ask me that question is two places. One, I think about when you are that way and you do have a connection with people, you have an understanding about where they're coming from, what they're up against, and the challenges they're facing. And it does make you not only better to respond with that human connection with people, and that's sometimes served me well, because then I don't have the conflict that I would have had if I had met force with force. So I've always, and I will say this, and I do consider myself very lucky, knock on wood, with this. I have not had to tangibly go hands-on in like physical combative with most people, because I can get buy-in using the tone of my voice and or negotiating or listening. And so those are some skill sets that have served me well in that piece too, right? So lots of times I think, and it also makes me, right now, I feel a good manager in that forum too, because I rather than sometimes making hard decisions, I will hear and listen to a point of view and I'm able to try and find a solution that's is working for everyone, rather than, you know, having the hard, laying down the hard line on some of those things. But certainly trying to establish boundaries, healthy boundaries, and putting those forth with relationships. And that, I think, is something that only comes with time, experience, and maturity. And I can sincerely say that, you know, again, navigating through my career, there are different times where I haven't done that as well as I would like to have. And then, you know, negative consequences have been as a result, which, again, you know, sometimes being a manager, being a good partner, being a good friend, being a good, you know, daughter, those things don't come with manuals, right? And so, you know, you do make mistakes, and I try to be one that learns from those things. But that's why I think, again, mentorship is so important. And, you know, I think of the saying, you know, birds of a feather flock together. And so it's wherever you place yourself, in what company you place yourself with. It's very easy to be negative and to be bitter and cynical and jaded and all of those things. But I find those things don't serve me well. So I gravitate towards the positivity, and I try to place myself in and amongst company of those who are also walking that path. And I look to you, Tammy, for that. Aww. Because you are someone that lives and breathes that every single day. But it's a choice, and it's an effort. You have to commit to it, right?
Yeah. Well, thank you very much for those kind words. That's very sweet of you. I love that you said that you don't necessarily do like the force against force, how you can put yourself into that other person's shoes. And that really is what empathy is to be able to put yourself in that person's shoes and to be able to maybe understand, maybe they've gone down that path, maybe they're doing bad things, but they're not necessarily a bad person. And to be able to see their heart and feel their feelings, I think that must go a long way. And I have no doubt that you have helped many, many people over the years onto a different path. Yeah, and so thank you for that.
Oh, absolutely. It's one of, I love the human relationship component of working in public safety. I am a public servant. I work for the public, and I'm there to make things better, not worse. And if you gravitate throughout your career that way, you know, it can be very rewarding, even though it can be extremely stressful and you know, it challenges your patience at times, right? So, and again, with the mentorship piece, I look at throughout my career, I started with, and society has changed, the workforce has changed considerably. And when I started in 1996, there was no one with a hand out reaching to assist, to mentor, to show you the way. And I, as a result, I spent a lot of years, you know, fighting for peace and opportunity and respect and a lot of other things that go with that. And so for me, why at this stage in my career, I think it's so important to mentor other females, let alone anyone else coming into any other agency, to say, I want to show you the way. And I wished somebody had been there in my stages of my career to guide and advise me on how to navigate through some of these really difficult decisions. I have a mentor who I rely very heavily on for decision making, bouncing ideas off of, and that's another way. It's preservation in these tough times, in tough workplaces and difficult relationships. And so we make and schedule time to talk at least once every other week, and she has made such a huge, profound impact on my career.
Wow, that is so nice. Everyone needs that. That leads me into thinking, so if you were going to give a young woman advice that is coming into a profession of public safety, what advice would you give her?
I think I would say find a mentor and continue to place yourself in positions of advancement by continuous education, continuous learning, seeking out opportunities for yourself, knowing what your vulnerabilities and weaknesses are, acknowledging them, and putting an action plan into place so that you are able to, it's okay that you have them. It's how do you then put your best foot forward so that it's not crippling your advancement.
Wow, such great advice. Yeah. I can't wait for this video to be like shown in our group, and then, you know, for others to see, because I think that this is an incredibly encouraging chat that we're having, and you are such an inspiration, and I'm so glad to know you. Can you tell us what makes your soul soar?
I would have to say helping others.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a good thing. It's also, again, I've had to keep in check with my want and need to achieve balance, because I will often say yes to more than I can and have the capacity to do, and that becomes detrimental to me. And I do want any, you know, task or project that I am involved with to be successful. But when you aren't, you don't have the capacity to all the things that you have on your plate, then you don't do it all as well as you could, right? So what fuels my soul is helping others and seeing other people grow and advance and learn. And it's really kind of, when we talk about succession planning, it's preparing people to take over when you're going to be in a position to hand off the torch. I love doing that. I love seeing people come from a position of, you know, where they, their skill set was, you know, needed some enhancement. And as a result of being provided different opportunities, they then become more knowledgeable, more well-rounded. And to see people professionally and personally grow as a result of a relationship that you've had with them, or an assistance that you've been able to provide, I think is just outstanding.
Wow. It's like, you know, empowering others empowers you, right? And that's such a beautiful thing, because it's a beautiful circle. Like, if everybody does that, helps to empower somebody else, helps others achieve their goals. What a world we could have, hey?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Laurie. I appreciate that, you know, taking your time with me today, and, you know, just sharing a little bit about, you know, what your life is like, and, you know, why you do what you do, and very inspirational. So thank you so much. And I hope that we can have you on the show again sometime soon.
I would love to come back anytime. I want to give you a huge kudos for starting this group, all of the work that you do with uplifting people and allowing for safe space for people to have that forum. What you're doing, Tammy, is absolutely amazing, and you are helping and assisting so many people through their own journeys. So,
making me blush.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. We'll talk again very soon.
Okay, take care.